See if I can.
I have this code coming up, and I don't know what it's saying to me.
A code? What do you mean?
Yeah, I don't know. It's underneath the one graphic that I have, so I got to go over to graphics. I got to turn that off. No, don't do that. I just don't want the graphic. There we go. Looks like your embedded link is invalid. Yeah, all right, I'll fix that.
Okay.
Visit the chat settings and grab a new one. Oh, I'm not going to be able to see the chat settings. The chat settings got reset somehow.
Okay.
And it does say that we're talking to Evan Brandt,
which
but
we
we're not.
Clearly are not.
Obviously.
So let me go back out of the studio.
All right.
No.
Hello, folks.
Let me not do that. We're going to be talking with Porchcast Pottstown. I'm Amy Wolf, and you're Matt Green.
Yes.
And I'm Evan Brandt.
So we actually have, and I'm going to put her little link up there. We actually have Donna Manley from Polkadot Powerhouse of the Pottstown chapter.
I keep wanting to say Polkadot Playhouse, but that's not right.
That would give it a whole other.
It totally, yeah.
I was confused
image.
about what it was too. Like I
Mhm.
thought, like I knew from talking to Donna at the Rotary meeting
Right.
that it had something to do with networking and entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
But I wasn't exactly sure. I had visions of like fashion design and like
The polka dot part was throwing
yeah,
me
the
off.
polka dot
right?
part.
Yeah.
and like maybe like a runway show or
Right.
something.
I'd
Like,
be on board with that.
I know you would.
Yeah.
But before the show, her and I talked, and she smoothed it all out with us. There were women's
Okay.
networking group.
Well, I'm excited to learn about it because I know
Good.
nothing about it.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited for this opportunity to
yeah.
tell people that it's not a runway show.
So we are here at Pottstown United Brewing in the 200 block of High Street. Today is Veterans Day. Matt's going to talk a little bit about Veterans Day later, but Pottstown United Brewing is offering 20% off of everything to veterans today. So come on down. You can watch the show. We'll be here until 7 and get something to eat and have a couple of drinks. Also across the street at Iron Gate, they are giving their first free draft beer to veterans. So you can go.
Nice.
It's a nice night out there.
It is.
Yeah.
I see people strolling down the street. I don't see anybody with any heavy jackets or anything on.
Nope.
So the Iron Gate's open.
Yeah.
Head on
and
over
you
there.
can go to Iron Gate and probably order food from Pub because we see Amanda running across the street with food.
Right.
So usually you can sit there at Iron Gate and order food from Pub.
That leads us to our next thing that we are live at
Mhm.
Pottstown United Brewing Company
Right.
down here on High Street.
200 block.
The 200
We forget
block.
the address
All the
but
time.
Yes, right across from the very best.
There you go.
That's
Correct.
the address.
So just like Amy just said, if you want to go down to Iron Gate and take advantage of their Veterans Day program, you can do that. You can order food from Pub. You can also come down to Pub and be
Hang
part
out
of
with
the
us.
Peanut Gallery.
Yeah.
Hang out with us. We do appreciate it when people patronize Pub because Adam gives us a foretop to use every Thursday. So please support your local brew pub.
Now, we were not here last Thursday because you were on a hunting trip.
I was.
And I had a night out in Pottstown. I went and I did some yoga, and then I came here for dinner, and then I went across the street to Rivet and saw Adam's band, Madam Inc., I think they're called, saw his band play at Rivet,
Nice.
which is a really cool space.
Yeah. I haven't seen that yet.
It's across the street
Which I
in the New
heard.
York store. At
Yes.
32 Things in Pottstown, you have to always say what it used to be.
Right.
So it is Rivet, located in what people know as the New York store.
Okay.
It's a very, very cool event space, and they have some events coming up that I'll talk about when we do news and events.
So is that the room in the back? Is the Ford still in the front? Is the Ford still there? The
there-
coffee shop?
No,
Okay.
no.
So that's changed.
Yeah, they're taking over the whole
Okay,
space. So
awesome.
when I was there last week, they had it was all opened up, and they're
All
putting
right.
in some new countertops and things. Cool. It's a really cool
Anxious to
space.
check it out. Yeah.
Yes. So Matt, when do you want to do your Veterans Day stuff? Later?
Yeah, we'll talk
Okay.
to Donna first and get through some stuff about the Polkadot Powerhouse.
Yeah. So we
And-
met Donna at, well, we've met you a couple of
Rotary,
times,
yeah.
but we met you or saw you at Rotary when
Right.
we were the guest speakers in August.
Right.
And you said, please, let me come on the show. I said,
Which is
"Sure."
how you get on
Which is how you
Porchcast
get on,
Yeah,
Yes,
which
yes.
is
by the way.
awesome.
You just ask,
That's great. That's
and
great
9
to
times
know.
out of 10 we'll let you come on the
Yeah.
show.
That's awesome. That's
So
awesome.
tell us who you are, where
Okay.
you're from, what you do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm Donna Manley. I grew up in Lansdale, so I'm not a Pottstonian, but Pottstown has my heart. I've been here.
I know, it gets
a lot,
under your
and I
skin,
just love
doesn't
it.
it?
And the thing is, I've never lived in Pottstown, and I still don't. I live in Boyertown, but my first connection, I was doing some networking, and I joined the chamber. And I was at a chamber meeting and heard Bill Wellen talking about Rotary. It's like, okay, what's Rotary? Tell me about that. So I joined Pottstown Rotary. That was my first connection. And when I saw what was happening in town and got involved in serving Pottstown, I just fell in love with it. So I love being
So
here.
you joined the Pottstown Rotary, not the Boyertown Rotary. 'cause
I
they
didn't
have a
even
special-
know there was a Boyertown Rotary. So I first connected to Pottstown because I met Bill, and that's where I landed.
Right.
And I love it. It's a great Rotary club. Pottstown's a fabulous Rotary.
Mhm.
You still hear stories about so many Rotaries that are basically 90-year-old guys meeting for
Right.
coffee every week. And
Right.
Pottstown is growing, and it's young, and it's
Yeah.
dynamic.
Yeah.
It's
They
fabulous.
are a good group, a diverse group, and have some longtime members, but
Yes.
also a younger element as
Absolutely.
well, which is great.
Yeah.
And they do a lot of great service
I
projects and
do.
are involved. They are dedicated Porchtonians. A lot of them
Yes.
watch the show, and we appreciate
We
that.
get a ton of support from the Rotarians
Yeah.
from Pottstown. Have been active on the show, are active in the community, and
Yeah.
really have helped us out to get to where we are today. So
Yes. I want to just say hello to everybody that's watching. Hello, moms. All the moms are watching. My mom's watching. Matt's mom's watching.
Send my mom the link. Maybe she's watching too. All the moms are out there.
I'm struggling with this new format of the comments. So
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
got it. Okay, there it is. Diana's here. Phil is watching. Thank you, Lauren, one of our Rotary friends.
Lauren
McCloskey. Yeah.
She's a polka dot
Yeah,
too.
Jesse, Chris Golden, thank you everyone
Awesome.
for tuning in. I don't mean to leave anyone out. I just wanted to say hello to everyone and
That's
thank you
great.
for tuning in. So you, aside from having business interests that you are involved in, I don't know how much of that you want to talk about.
Yeah.
Um,
I could encapsulate it real quickly.
Yeah.
I grew up in corporate America in chemical manufacturing.
okay.
So I did that for 35, 40 years. And when I met my husband 20 years ago, I left that and we started this mechanical contracting company together. So we've been doing that for 20 years. 9 years ago, I started health coaching. I did that for a while. And since then, we're doing a lot of things. We bought a farm. We have an equestrian center. We're doing an event venue. Busy doing a lot of things. And I want to jump back into doing some professional speaking too. So keeping busy, getting old and thinking I should slow down, and
It's
I'm
just not working
But you know what?
out.
If you're having fun, I used to
Right.
think retirement meant putting the brakes on.
Right.
And now I realize why. If I put
Well,
the brakes on, I'm not going to get off the sofa.
If it's fun, then
As long as you're having fun.
that's great.
That's what I
it's when it's
decided.
a drag that,
Absolutely.
that it's time to retire.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So yeah, I did all that. And if you want to jump into Polkadot, my Polkadot
Mhm.
story
Sure.
with my health coaching, I realized, okay, I was doing the business with my husband. So it was administrative in the home office all the time, not meeting anyone.
Right.
When I started the health coaching and I ran out of family and friends and Facebook,
Yeah.
it's like, okay, I have to go out and meet people. So I started networking. So I was in about 5 different networking groups locally, going to 5 meetings a week.
Right. There's like
it was the
BB&G
chamber.
and
Oh my God,
all the-
everything.
right.
And I was president of a couple and I started one. And maybe 2 years ago, I decided to just pull it back because, like I said, I wanted to get more serious about retirement. So I was pulling back from everything except Polkadot because there was so much value in Polkadot. That was the only thing I wanted to keep.
So Polkadot Powerhouse is the
Polkadot
name of the
Powerhouse,
organization.
yes.
And it is a networking group. Is that how you would
Essentially.
describe it? Okay.
And we call it a connection group,
Got it.
more so than networking because we do it a little differently.
Okay.
So my first experience with Polkadot, there was a Pottstown attorney that invited me to a Polkadot mixer in King of Prussia. And as soon as I heard the name, it's like, oh, hell no. I told Matt, I imagine everybody's wearing purple and they're wearing little...
Yeah, you're thinking like the Red
Yes,
Hat Society,
yes,
but in polka dots.
Yes.
And I'm not...
I was thinking the same thing.
Right.
It's like a fashion show or
Right.
something.
And
Yeah.
I am not the girly girl. Like, I never put makeup on unless I have to go out and do something. I'm not that girl. So I didn't go. I wanted nothing to do with it. And then it wasn't until the local chapter started, and it was first the Pottsgrove chapter, and Christine Morris started it. And I was good friends with Christine and thought, well, if Christine's in it, it must be something worth going to.
Right.
So I went, and it was so different. I didn't enjoy women's networking groups up until that point. because I still walked into a room of women and felt like I was back in junior high school.
Yeah.
Like there were
I
cliques.
was just going to ask
Right.
you why. Like,
Right.
do you think the cattiness or
Yeah,
or,
women are there's still a lot of drama.
okay.
Women are still catty and cliquey. And actually, I think as you get older, it goes away because I just had my 50th high school reunion, and then you don't care anymore. Everybody just loves everybody.
Yeah.
It's just
Right.
Yeah,
really
my parents
different.
said the same thing about their high school
Yeah.
reunions. Like when you get to, I don't know, like 40,
The 40th, I think,
everyone's
was
like,
when it changed.
just
Nobody cares. It's
right.
not like,
It's all,
so who are
everything's
you and
like
what do
water
you
under the
do?
bridge. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah,
Do
it
you
was so
think-
different.
Do you think that inhibits women from getting ahead in the workplace?
Absolutely.
You know, because we hear all the time, and I'm not going to argue against it. It is a fact. Women don't make as much money as men.
Mhm.
They're not promoted at the
Absolutely.
same levels that men
Right.
are, et cetera, et
Absolutely.
cetera. But it seems to me that maybe some of the stuff that women do to each other is holding them back.
Absolutely. And that's why Polkadot has taken such a different approach.
Right.
It's collaboration over oh my God, my words are
Like
just coming out of my mouth.
competition.
Competition.
Yeah.
Collaboration over competition. We're there to support one another because listen, women and men bring totally different things to the table,
Sure.
and they're both really necessary.
Mhm.
But nobody can support a woman like another woman.
Right.
When a woman really needs support, 9 times out of 10, if you talk to your husband, he's going to jump on it and try to fix it for you, right?
Oh, yeah.
No,
And we
yeah.
don't want
men
to
are
fix.
fixers.
For sure.
We're
You know,
fixers.
right,
Yeah.
There's a
right.
great
Yeah.
YouTube short. It's about a 3-minute video, and it's not about the nail. Have you seen it?
Yeah, I did. I did.
Yes.
I love it.
So
I
that
love
is
it.
exactly it.
I know.
Sometimes you don't want the problem to be fixed, right?
I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, women just need a shoulder, but another woman gets that,
Right.
and a man doesn't. And
Yeah.
even in business,
or a woman will say, "Are you looking for advice, or do you want me?" Like we'll acknowledge, like,
ask.
"Are you like, what do you
Yes.
want? Do you want
Yes.
do you want an answer, or do you want to just like bitch?"
Exactly.
Sometimes you
Because
just
we
want to
know.
bitch. Yeah.
Because we know
Yeah.
how to talk to one another.
Right.
And so when you have women supporting you in business and in life, you can accomplish a lot more. You can
Right.
be way more successful.
Right.
Well, I mean, like, so in education, they've done these studies, right? That men and women, young men and women, and boys and girls perform differently when they're in all male settings or all female settings.
Okay.
So maybe there is something to be said for that.
Yeah,
too.
absolutely.
So you're providing kind of the adult version of that.
Yeah.
You're giving women a safe place to go where they can connect with each other and
Absolutely.
problem solve and connect. And
Mhm.
I guess what you were getting ready to say and what you told me earlier in the show is that it's a place for people to develop those connections first. So
Yes.
you're doing the personal connection first, and then the business connection is coming
Absolutely.
later. Do you want to elaborate on that?
Well,
a
the
little
thing
bit?
is, like I said, I did a lot of networking. There's not one networking group you'll walk into where they don't promote and say that you will only do business with people you know, like, and trust, right?
right.
But who does that? You walk in a B2B mixer and you're just banging people with business cards and banging them with your sales pitch. And that's not building a relationship, which is where Polkadot pulls it back and really focuses on the relationships first. But if you don't mind, let me tell you the quick story about where the name came from, because
Sure.
the name is the thing that really repelled me at first. And I think a lot of people don't know.
Right.
The founder of Polkadot 10 years ago, is Shannon Crotty, and she lives in Eau Claire, Wisconsin. And she had just relocated there and was really feeling alone.
Mhm.
She had just lost her sister. Tina had died a year before or so, and just really felt a big hole in her life. And so she became a realtor and realized real quickly that's not what she should do. But she developed a women's magazine that was very successful. But a common thread was that these women needed more connection than just the magazine. So she started this connection group, and she didn't know what she was doing. And she was in the car one day, and just out of note, she's like praying to her sister. And out of nowhere, she got the word Polkadot Powerhouse. And she believes it came from her sister.
Right.
She said, I have no idea where it came from, but it was from Tina. So I was going with it.
Right.
And then that's what she called this organization. And she said, now to this day, she said, every time we get a new member, she said, I look at it as the sister that Tina sent me.
Aw. Oh, that's about to make me cry.
I know. I am not.
Yeah.
I never get choked up, but I get choked
Right.
up every time I say that.
Right. That's
So
really
that's where
sweet.
the name came from. So she said, so I'm sorry if you don't like the name, but it's never going away.
Right.
Gotcha.
And I
Right.
get it. It makes so much sense.
But now it is something unique that sets you guys apart from other
Yeah.
things. Like,
Yeah.
a lot of the networking organizations that I was involved in or have experience with, they're like 3-letter words or 3-letter
Yeah.
acronyms that
Absolutely.
don't really mean
Yeah.
anything.
BNI,
BNI,
BBNG.
I started
Right.
PRN in Pottstown.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that doesn't really mean anything. That it
No.
doesn't stand out.
I
But
know.
Right.
I know.
we're all going to remember Polkadot
You're all going to
Powerhouse.
remember it. Now all you
Yeah.
have to do is know about it. Make sure you come and check it out, because the difference is I would walk into those other women networking groups, and seriously, I felt like I was in junior high. I felt like, oh my God, nobody's going to talk to me.
Right.
I mean, I'm not shy. I can talk to anybody, but I am an introvert. And if I walk in a room and don't feel like there's any circle I can walk into and feel
Mhm.
like a part of it, I just want to cringe. I
You
wanna
start
walk
to shut
out.
Oh, that's
down.
uncomfortable for anybody.
Anybody,
Yeah.
it is.
And at the end of the day, that's the opposite purpose of what the networking
Sure.
group is supposed
Of course.
to be, right? You're not supposed to
Exactly.
shut people down. You're supposed to turn people on.
No.
Right.
But you walk into a Polkadot meeting, and nobody will walk into a room at Polkadot, at least in Pottstown, and not feel welcomed with open arms by every woman in that room.
Right.
It's amazing how they feel.
So we've talked about the name extensively now. We've given people a little bit of background. Audra the Hammer
Hey, Audra.
Ross is tuning into the show. I know that
Hey,
she's a
Audra.
member.
Audra.
And Polkadot Powerhouse, you can find Polkadot Powerhouse at the www that's up on your screen. And then from there, why don't you guide
From
people
there,
into the Pottstown chat?
Click on find a meeting find a chapter/meeting, and then just find Pottstown, and you'll see everything about us. You'll see who the leadership team is. There's an email link under each one of our pictures if you want to contact us, and our meetings are already there, so you can register for one of our December meetings if you want to come and check us out.
Where do you hold the meetings?
The meetings are at Brookside Country Club
Okay.
all year long, except for January when they close down for maintenance. So
Right.
barn's going to be finished. I'm thinking we're going to have the
Oh,
meetings
cool.
in my barn.
Your barn's going to be finished.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we do meetings on the second Wednesday of the month for lunch,
Mhm.
and then the Tuesday night before for dinner. So it's an identical meeting, but just with different time frames to meet people where they
For
are.
people that might not be
for
able to get
scheduling.
there during
Absolutely.
the day. they can
How
get there at
many
night, right.
people do you have in the Pottstown chapter?
We have 41 members right now. We just had our meetings this week, and we had about 23 people at each meeting.
Okay.
And when I took the chapter over a year ago, it was 23 members.
Okay.
So we're really in a growth spurt.
Now, how is your membership limited? So in a lot of different networking groups, it's limited. Like they'll only take
Category
one lawyer.
specific?
They'll only take
Nope.
one real estate
Nope.
agent. They'll
Right.
only take one insurance
Mhm.
agent.
No, we're not. We have an abundance mentality.
Okay.
If I have 5 pampered chef ladies in the room or 5 attorneys, they find ways to collaborate and help one another.
Well, and I think actually that would be helpful because if I were to be involved in a group, I would want to be able to talk to other people in that group about similar challenges that I'm having or
Yes.
problems that I'm having. And if there were 5 other law office administrators, that would be really helpful for me
Yeah.
because I would be like, oh, how do you handle this? How do you handle this
Absolutely.
personnel issue? How do you handle this maintenance issue or what kind of software or what,
Right.
I want to actually be around people that are in similar position
Yeah.
as me
But
because
a lot
they'll
of
be
people
able to,
don't.
right.
There's so much competition, and women are just worse when it comes to that a lot of times. And because Polkadot doesn't feed that, we just aren't attracting those women.
Right.
We also have a drama. We call ourselves, no drama llamas.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Leave your
Lauren said
drama
that.
at the door.
Yes.
And I'll tell you what, it's hard to eliminate drama from women too. But because we really stand strong on that, I mean, it just is not attracting those women. So these women are supportive. They
Yeah.
care about one another. You can be in a group of 41 women and you're not going to like everybody. Everybody's not going to be
Well,
your
you're going
best
to meet a
bud.
group of 41 people.
Yeah, exactly.
You forget
Period.
about
I mean,
Yeah.
But you know what? We still treat each other with the same respect and the
Right.
same caring. And that's the difference. It's like, okay, I might not be best friends with everybody. I might not want everybody to go on a trip with me, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to treat you with the same respect and care about you just as much as anyone else. And that's how our whole chapter is. It's a
Right.
very caring chapter. Somebody's having problems and we jump in like, what do you need? Do you need meals? Did anybody have problems after the flood? I mean,
Right.
we jump in and we do it.
Right.
It's just a very caring, different group. So no category specific. We have an abundance mentality. Over 3,000 members. Other networking groups also. You know how
3,000 members
Nationwide.
year-wide, worldwide, globally.
worldwide.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a chapter in the UK now and one in Canada, so we're really expanding. The thing is, with a lot of networking groups, you're restricted to your local group. Like, a lot of these, you can maybe visit another group in another town,
Yeah,
but
for a
only
meeting
once
or
a month.
two. Yeah,
And
right,
if
right.
somebody's there with your category, then you can't go.
Right,
So there are a
right.
lot of restrictions.
Yeah.
Polkadot, it doesn't matter. And in Southeast Pennsylvania, we have 7 chapters.
Mm.
So if we want to go to Montgomeryville's meeting, we can go to King of Prussia's, go to Lancaster, York, Ben Salem, Chatsworth, anywhere, anytime we want. We had somebody at our meeting Tuesday night from Minneapolis. She's just traveling around the country
Oh,
and going to
cool.
Polkadot meetings. So
Wow.
you can do that. And then you can get and connect with any of these 3,000 women all over the country.
Right.
And if you don't have a business that's geographically restrictive, I mean, you can do business with people all over the world.
Right.
So that's pretty awesome. Women come for networking mostly, but it is such a positive, good atmosphere that we have some women who just come because they need girl time.
Just to socialize,
Like,
right?
yeah, like one girl's husband retired and she's like, oh my God, I have to get out of the house. And somebody else works with men all day. She's like, I just need girl time.
Right.
So I want to kind of talk to you about one of the specific categories of businesses that you talked about. You talked about like Pampered Chef,
Yeah.
and the MLM businesses, right?
Mhm.
If you don't know what MLM means, that's multi-level marketing.
Yeah.
Amway is the most historic,
Absolutely.
bright line
Right.
example,
Mhm.
right? How do the MLM women do in this world, in this market, right?
Yeah.
Do you think does it lend them to any additional success, or do you think just meeting and interacting with people builds their ability to do their presentations otherwise? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, maybe bouncing ideas around and
Yeah. I mean, I have a lot of experience with that MLM world.
Yeah.
I do, personal experience,
Mhm.
and it can be tough.
Oh, absolutely.
There's a lot of
Absolutely.
promises at the start,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
it's not easy to get started,
know.
just like any other business.
I know.
But I think there are some additional hangups with the
Mhm.
MLM
Yeah.
based on the way that they bring people into them. Do
Yeah.
you think that your organization can kind of help smooth that a little bit? Have you seen?
I think we
you have any
do,
experience?
because we have maybe a third of our membership is involved in MLMs or network marketing. And my company that I was using for the health coaching that I was doing
Mhm.
is direct sales, but not necessarily MLM. But for instance, we had gals who did isogenics. And so
Okay.
we were both doing weight loss. But because we focus more on collaboration and supporting one another, if she had a client who just wasn't successful with what she was doing, one time she did, she said, Donna, would you talk to her? Because maybe your plan will work for her. We're there to help each other. And other women who do the exact same thing, but maybe there's a show or something coming up and one can't make it, will say, hey, listen, do you want to do that? Or they work together and they share ideas for what's successful on social media strategy and things like that. So I see it as being really beneficial in helping them too, because that's a really huge growing part of the population, especially after COVID. People are
Mhm.
looking at all different kinds of things to do. So there are a lot of women doing that, but there's good support and good training for them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So check it out. Now, let's talk about dues and membership,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah,
Like
okay.
there's
Thank you. That
cost
was
to
a
this,
question I had.
correct?
Absolutely. Membership is $299 initially, and then $199 a year after that for renewal. But if you join within 7 days of hearing about it or coming to a meeting, you get a $30 discount. And certain times of the year, they do different promotions, so you can get really good deals too. But that, and then you pay for your lunch or dinner,
Right.
and that's it. But I was doing a weekly meeting in a networking group I started. It was like $50 a year, and then we paid for our breakfast every week. And honestly, I paid for that for a whole year. It was more expensive than this. So yeah, because this is once a month, So
Right.
yeah.
Audra the Hammer.
Yeah, Audra was
Ross.
reminding us that you have an event coming up. which you told
Absolutely.
me
Yeah,
about.
we're
So
going to talk about that. Thanks, Audra.
Yeah. So we'll talk about that because that's coming up.
Okay.
This,
Well, I was
Saturday.
telling Matt, it's not necessarily something Polkadot, talks about all the time, because we are a connection group and supporting one another. But Pottstown especially, we just have women in our group who are so community minded, which I love. So everything we do to really bolster the community and support the community. So Polkadot does have something called a dream drive every year. This time of year, if you want to do it, they would like you to find a local nonprofit to support somehow in December. So what we're doing is Amir Heim is our social coordinator. She has put together a community vendor event that's going to be Saturday night at Norco Fire Company from 6 to 10, a sip and shop, so you can come and drink some wine and shop. And not just going to be vendors, but we're also going to have King's Seafood and Beverly's Pastry
great.
and Barrister's Bagels there, so you can
Nice.
grab some food too, but lots of vendors. And the money is all going to profit Mosaic Community Land Trust this year. So they're the recipient this year of our
Very
thing.
nice.
And then early in the year, around March, we have something called Rock the Dot Day. And Pottstown always chooses to do something in the community. So this year, half of us went and picked up trash. We did it through, in conjunction with Hobart's Run.
Mhm.
We picked up trash on Beach Street.
Okay.
And another part of the group went to Pottstown Bible Church and prepped food for their Sunday morning meals. And then we all went back to the terminal for lunch.
Nice.
So we're very community minded.
Nice.
Well, there's always trash to pick up in Pottstown.
Always trash
And thank
to
you.
pick up.
That's Beach Street. That's my neighborhood. So thank you
Good.
for picking up in our
Yes.
neighborhood.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what else do you want people to know about the group and what is? We already talked about like what's different, but what is gonna compel me?
Let me tell you what a meeting's like.
Yeah.
So our
Yeah, what
meetings,
a
our
meeting is
meetings
like.
are
Yeah,
2
that's
hours
what-
long.
yeah.
And when you
So what
come
am I
to a
going to
meeting,
expect when I get there? So I'm going to
Absolutely.
walk in and I'm not going to know anybody. Well, I'm probably going to know.
you're going
a bunch
to,
of
you'll know
people.
everybody probably,
Right.
but yeah, no, you come to a meeting and we first just have business we talk about, and I tell you about Polkadot Powerhouse and all
Right.
that good stuff. But then we do 1 minute commercials, so everybody gets their little.
Okay, so
elevator
everyone gets
speech.
their little.
So we do that. But
time
then
to stand
something
up.
I add to that is that I always ask them a question after they introduce themselves. Just a random question. Like this week, it was, what's your favorite Thanksgiving holiday tradition or food?
Right.
Just to get to know each other more,
Yeah.
because we're about relationships.
Yeah.
So let's just get to know each other better. And then we have a segment where we do celebrations. Women don't celebrate themselves. We celebrate everybody else, but not ourselves. So what are you celebrating today? Personal, professional, anything you're excited about, and we celebrate you.
So that's kind of like, what do they call it at Rotary? It's like
Brags and sags, but
right?
it's just brags.
Just brags.
But it's
no
just
sags.
brags, no sags. And then we talk about collaborations, because the relationships do lead to business. So what other dots are you doing business with?
Right.
And then we give them a time
So that's
to
what
talk
you call
about
each other as
specials.
dots.
Yeah,
Cute.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then we have a speaker. We always have a guest speaker.
Okay.
And it's always educational, and we make sure that it will benefit you not only professionally but personally,
Right.
because everybody's not there for business.
Right. So give me an example of
great.
like what kind of a
For
speaker you would have.
December, go on our website and sign up for a December meeting, because we have Jody Silverman, who is an author, a speaker, an entrepreneur, a certified life coach, and she's the founder of Moms Who Dare, which has serviced, helped thousands of women all over the country. It started with empty nest syndrome, and now it's just open to all women. You don't have to be a mom. You don't have to be empty nest.
Right.
But she is, her topic is going to be how to dare yourself in 2020. There's enough goal setting done in December. So we thought, let's not do goal setting. Let's just do
Right.
something different. So it's going to be how can you dare yourself, living a life where you dare yourself to just do some new things. And she's a fabulous speaker. So we always bring in top-notch, really good speakers, sometimes women from our chapters.
Yeah. How do you find your speakers?
Oh, just networking around.
Okay.
Finding people networking. And a lot of times it starts from other chapters. We have so many chapters locally
Right.
that I can find women from other chapters or
Right.
just people we know. But for November, because we're kicking off our dream drive and our theme for November is community, instead of that, we had a panel. And we had 5 women Tuesday night and 5 women on Wednesday who are all involved in some nonprofit in Pottstown,
Okay.
to tell our members what all the volunteer opportunities are locally, so they can
Plenty
get more
of those.
involved.
Yeah.
And it was
plenty of those.
awesome. We had everybody talking about everything, which is great.
Right.
So there's always education. There's we do socials. Besides that, we do 1 social a month. We do a coffee connect every month. So we see each other up to 3-4 times a month if you want to. You plug in as much or as little as you want.
Right.
Deb Penrod was saying that her
Hey, Deb.
60-second commercial on Tuesday was about the Go Forth.
Aw, thanks,
Yes, it
Deb.
was.
Thank you.
And we even posted about the house tour
Thank
in our
you.
private group.
Thank
So
you.
we promote everything that's going on in
Excellent.
town.
Appreciate
Yeah.
it. If you would like to be on the trolley tour, get your ticket because we're more than halfway sold out on the trolley tour. So,
Yes.
yeah.
And aren't you looking for a bouncer?
No, we're good. We're
Oh,
covered.
you got it?
Yeah, we're
Okay.
covered. Yeah.
Audra the Hammer Ross was saying that I find that many of the women in Polkadot have an MLM style business, also have an additional business or skill that they offer. They are not there to recruit or sell. For example, our social coordinator is this kind of business, but she has never tried to recruit at a meeting. And she actually offers us a very helpful 6 weeks to success
Yep.
sport group regularly. That is all about keeping each other accountable
Yeah.
in our goals.
It's goal setting.
That
It's
is
awesome.
really important and good to hear because I think what would be a big hesitation for a lot of folks, myself, is that I don't want to walk in to a meeting like that and be bombarded with
Oh my God, absolutely.
right.
There is none of
I
that.
don't want to be
There's none of
bombarded
that.
by that. I really would if I were to attend or consider joining a group like that, it would be because I would want to talk to other women that are in a similar situation as me and
Absolutely.
like to have somebody to
Yeah.
like brainstorm with and about different challenges that I have in my business.
So I would
Yeah.
say this. I was part of a networking group in the Tri-County Chamber of Commerce. And when it first started out, it got into a little bit of that where we were just doing the 30-second elevator pitches and doing all this stuff. And I was really on the verge of saying, you know what, I'm good.
I'm not really feeling
I
like you're
know.
getting
Good.
much out.
It's
Yeah.
icky.
But then we restructured it.
Okay.
And it became more of a round table where people who were involved in the business, regardless of what their business was, could bring different issues
That's what
or
I'm talking
ideas
about.
that they were
Yes.
having to the table.
Yes.
Yes.
And we kind of, just like you're saying,
Yes.
we sat around and we brainstormed
Mhm.
about different ways to help that person overcome the challenges
Right.
that they were having in their business.
Mhm.
That was much more interesting and engaging to me than
Right.
just hearing 10, 30-second
Oh my
elevator
gosh,
pitches.
right?
The
I
other
know.
the other thing that it did too, and you've already talked about this with your Polkadot group, is it helped you understand who that person was, how they were managing their business, what their business ethics were. And I learned much more about people that I wanted to do business with from that than I did from listening to somebody's 30-second
Absolutely.
elevator
Yeah.
pitch. I know that there's some people watching that help people with their 30-second pitches and resume development and everything else.
Right.
That's all fine and good.
Right.
But once you get past that, there's got to be some substance behind it.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
And it's in those deeper discussions
Yes.
that you find what that substance is.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
And what we do at every meeting, we have little connection slips on the table. So while you're listening to people do their 30-second or minute elevator speech, you can, if somebody just like sparks your interest, like I just want to get to know her better, you fill out their name and it's a request to connect with them.
Right.
And we really stress that the connect is not to talk about, not to be salesy at all. And if
Right.
we find out it is, we address it.
Right.
It's not that. I have a girlfriend who's a professional speaker, and I love the way she talks about this. She said, she said, it's so icky. I feel like I walk into a business card exchange and somebody walks right up to me and grabs my boob. She said, I'm like, dude,
It's that
buy me a drink.
personal.
That's the
It's that
equivalent.
Buy me a
personal.
big
Yeah.
drink. And that's exactly
Yeah,
what you're
right,
doing.
right.
Like, let's get to know each other first. The business will come later. I know what you do. If I
Yeah.
need you, I'll call you. I know what you do, but
Lick
let's
it
just get to
before
know
you
each
stick
other.
it.
What'd you say?
Lick
Lick it before you stick
Yes.
Yeah. Something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But we
but you're-
really, really enforce that. It is a first date. You are getting to know each other.
Right.
They know what you do. If they want it, they'll come to you.
Right.
But you don't talk about it. You don't try and sell. And we don't even let them offer free samples. Because as soon as you offer somebody a free sample, now you know you're committed to try it. You know
Right.
there's going to be
Right.
follow-up.
Yeah,
You're going
then
to feel
be-
pressure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not. It's like, no, this
Well,
is
and
get
I
to know
feel
each
like,
other.
like that's much more organic, or like what you were talking
Yeah.
about with the round table. That's a much more organic way of sharing your business and what you're all about. Like, okay, I know what you do, but how do you do it? What's your ethical or how you run your business?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
It feels much less forced.
It does. It feels much less forced. You actually learn more about that person's
Mhm.
business, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And you can make an informed decision about whether or not you're going to continue to do business or do business with somebody from the get-go.
Right.
I just find that just a much more appealing
Well, again, everybody
process.
talks about it. The
Right.
no, like, and trucks factor. They all talk about it, but who implements it? We are working hard to implement it. Take time to get to know them and like them and trust them. And then if you want to do
Mhm.
business with them, you will.
All right, so we're about at the halfway mark of the show.
All right.
Donna Manley from Polkadot Powerhouse has joined us. This has been an enlightening conversation for me. I am not eligible to join a Polkadot
No,
Powerhouse.
I brought a show
However-
and tell. I brought
Did
a
you?
show and tell. I did.
Go ahead.
He's gonna
What's your
hate
show
this.
and tell?
But I thought
I'm
that
gonna
this.
hate-
I thought this. But no, you might.
Hate's a strong
You're
word.
gonna get a chuckle out of it.
All right.
No, so this is a book that one of my coworkers lent to me. How to succeed in business without a penis.
I love it.
Secrets
Right.
and strategies for the
For
working
working
Right.
woman.
So this might be
It's
something that
different.
it might be
I
a
love
reading.
it.
It might be a good. It's a lot of it is kind of tongue in cheek and very humorously written. But we were talking about this at work because
Would that be at Wolf Baldwin and Associates?
yeah, it would be at Wolf Baldwin Associates, bringing you fine legal representation in the borough of Pottstown and the surrounding areas since 1973. So and every woman has come across this in her career, regardless of what you do. There are clients or customers or whatever that would rather talk to somebody with a penis.
Yeah.
If they don't like what you're telling them, they want to hear a male voice on the other end of the phone, even if that male voice tells them the same
Exact
thing
same
that
thing.
my voice told them.
Doesn't matter.
So this happened to me all the time when I worked in Reading for 12 years for a company called Bill's Khakis, and Bill was a real person, and people would, if they didn't like what my coworker Mary Jo or I were telling them, would say, "Let me talk to Bill. Let me talk to Bill. I want to talk to Bill." And we would just chuckle. Be like, "Do you think Bill's going to tell you anything different?" So we would say, "Bill, I've got so and so on the phone. Here's the issue." And he'd say, "Well, what did you tell them?" And I'd say X, Y, Z. He'd be like, "Okay, got it." He would get on the phone. He would tell the client X, Y, Z. I'm going to tell you exactly, what Amy told you is what we're doing.
Yeah.
I'm not
And-
ever
and
going
so-
to say
true.
that like, you're not going to hear Matt Green tell you that women don't face additional challenges
Yeah,
in the
oh, yeah,
workplace.
I know you know
I've
that,
experienced
yeah,
it.
of
I've
course.
seen it for
Yeah.
myself,
You're right.
especially in my former career in law enforcement.
Yeah.
I mean, I have definitely been in situations where there was a woman or a female cop
Mhm.
saying something to somebody and they weren't listening to her.
And you
Wow.
say
But
the
the-
same thing. Yes.
And
Yeah.
they would move
Right.
right along.
Yeah.
Right.
So I've
And-
seen it.
yeah.
And now that's an extreme example,
Yes.
but I've seen it happen.
Yeah.
I've seen it happen to
Yeah.
people.
It's
I'm
valid,
not
yeah.
denying it. I'm not doubting it.
I had, when I was working at Bill's, I was in many different roles when I was at Bill's Khakis, but at one point I was the production manager, and somebody asked me, they said, "Oh, what do you do?" I said, "I work for a men's clothing company called Bill's Khakis." And he said, "Oh, what do you do? Are you Bill's secretary?"
Yeah, I know.
No,
No.
actually, I'm the production manager.
I know.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And this was not that long ago. It's not 1950.
No, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
So anyway, this is a funny book.
That
So
is
we were
awesome.
having this conversation with one of the female attorneys at our office, and so she brought this in for me to
Yeah.
read, and it is very funny.
Yeah.
And I haven't gotten very far, as you can see from
I'm gonna have to check it
my
out.
bookmark. But I don't know. Maybe you can have her as a speaker. I don't know when this was. When was this written? I
Yeah.
think it was written in the late 90s, 96.
Okay.
So anyway, you can take a picture of it before you leave.
I will, for sure.
How to
Thank
succeed
you.
in business without a penis?
I love it. I
A
love
little
it.
light reading for you, ladies. I think that Deb Penrod probably would like this
She
one,
probably
right?
Love it.
Yeah. So that's my little show and tell.
would.
I have
Fred.
flashed up Polkadot Powerhouse's website. That's where Donna would like you to go in order to find them. They do have a page on Facebook
And they
that
can
you
also
can
link
find.
that from the website.
Yep, and you can find that from the website. I will try as best as I can to get that up during the news section into the chat. If somebody else who is a member of Polkadot Powerhouse who is watching, if you want to put a link up to the Facebook page in the chat, please do so. Just want to remind everybody one more time, we're at Pottstown United Brewing Company. We are live here. We welcome people to come down and be
Oh, the
part of
Durs
our
are here.
live
Hello, Durs.
studio audience.
Yes. I will put in a little plug for the food here. Last week I had the beef medallions. Have you ever had them?
Not here.
Delicious.
I have never
Mm.
had a bad meal here.
Oh my gosh.
There was
so
one
good.
thing that I tried that was a little bit more chili than I thought it was going to be. I got the duck wings one night.
Duck wings.
Duck
okay.
wings, like chicken wings,
Yeah.
except they were duck wings.
Hmm.
I would not order those again.
All right.
Were they tasty? Yes.
Yes.
Were they very kind of
Consistency?
chewy
All right.
to me? Yes.
How big is a duck's wing? It's big, right?
They're skinny. They're
Oh,
long
okay.
and skinny,
Oh.
so they're not like fat like a chicken wing.
Yeah.
Okay.
The sauce was great.
Yep.
They were done very well.
Mhm.
Just not my preference.
Not your
Yeah.
thing.
That's all I'm saying.
Right.
But if that's the worst meal that I
Yeah.
ever had
Yeah.
That's pretty
here,
good.
but everything,
Everything is always great and
I-
generous and reasonable.
Yes.
yes.
Yeah.
So come on down and support them.
Yes. All right. What is Vance is tuning in, and Katie Clark Potpinko. Hi,
Katie
Clark
Clark
Potpinko. We haven't seen you in so long. How are you?
Because our other show overlapped with her work schedule. So
got
there
it.
you go.
Trinita says she needs to read the book.
Awesome.
Yes. What is Vance saying? He finds it very beneficial for any business to be represented by men and women, as some customers have a preference on who they are more comfortable with. Absolutely, and that is definitely in our business in the legal field. That sometimes people feel more comfortable, like when they're dealing with an
Yeah.
estate, for example.
Yeah.
They might find a woman to be, more empathetic, or to sit down after they've just lost a loved
Sure.
one.
Men and women,
yeah.
and you said it before, men and women have different strengths and
Yes.
weaknesses.
Men are from Mars, women are from Venus. Did you
I
ever
would
read that
not-
book?
Oh my God,
I
yes.
mean, really,
I live by that.
It's been a long time since I read it, and it was a really big thing when it
I
came
know.
out, right? But it's pretty. A lot of
But
this
it's
stuff
so
is
clear. It's
it's-
the way it is,
right.
and yet women will always expect men to think like women,
no,
right?
no,
But they will.
It's not
As
about
soon
the
as
nail.
As soon as you exactly, as soon as you accept that you're different, life is so much easier.
Yes, yeah, and that's why
Yeah.
that book was such a
Absolutely.
big revelation
Oh my
when it came
God.
out.
I know.
Is let's
So true.
realize that we
Yeah.
don't think the same way.
No.
We just don't. It's
So-
it goes way back to hunter gatherers.
And you know what else
know?
that goes to? It makes me think too. One of the things that really bothered me about some of the other women's networking groups is like there was a lot of male bashing, like women power, and we're going to do this, and we don't need men at all. And I really have a
I
problem
don't really-
with that.
yeah.
We bring totally
You-
different
the
strengths to the
pendulum can
table.
swing too far either way,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we both have valuable things to bring to the table.
Right.
It's not like one's better than the other or stronger than the other. We have different strengths. Let's
Yeah.
capitalize on them by using them.
What was it on
together.
the Little Rascals? The He-Man Women Haters Club?
Yeah.
That
And
Alfalfa
then
and
they had a
Spanky
sign that said no grills
Yeah, no.
because they spelled girls
right.
wrong.
Oh, those Little Rascals.
That was probably me
Was
when
that
I was
you
like 10.
when you were little?
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
No grills.
Yeah, no grills. Now I'm like all for grills.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, all about
And
the
girls. Anyway, Donna Manley, Polkadot Powerhouse. I put the website back up there again. Please connect with them if you're interested. Today is Veterans Day,
Yes.
11/11.
Yes. Talk about the Veterans Day stuff before
So,
we run out of time.
Yeah, so I did
Yeah.
a little bit of research and study today, and I wanted to kind of break that out. I had a couple of different things so people could better understand Veterans Day.
Right. First,
So-
it's important to realize there's a difference between Veterans Day and Memorial Day.
Correct.
That's your first
Yes.
lesson,
Correct.
right?
Veterans Day is for all people who served in all branches,
Right.
right?
Yes.
Memorial Day is for those that have fallen in service to their country,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
So Veterans Day originated as Armistice Day
Yes.
on November 11th, 1919, the first anniversary of the end of the war. And basically what happens is Veterans Day occurs on November 11th every year in the United States in honor of the 11th hour on the 11th day of the 11th month. That was the time that signaled the end of World War I in 1918.
Okay.
That was the time that the
It was officially over.
Yes.
yes, we're going to end this on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month.
Yep.
So that was the end of World War I. It then became Armistice Day.
Mhm.
In 1954, Dwight D. Eisenhower officially changed the name of the holiday from Armistice Day to Veterans Day. In 1968, the Uniform Holidays Bill was passed by Congress, which moved the celebration of Veterans Day to the fourth Monday in October. The law went into effect in 1971, but in 1975, President Gerald Ford returned Veterans Day to November 11th due to the important historical significance of the date. Veterans Day commemorates veterans of all wars. All wars.
Or people that have served but didn't have active duty,
it has
right?
morphed
Okay.
into people who served,
Right.
anybody who
Right.
served, right? Great Britain, France, Australia, and Canada also commemorate
I'll
the
take this
veterans of World War I and World War II on or near November 11th. A friend of mine who lives in England, who flew for the Royal Air Force, sent me a tribute that they were doing actually in England today for the joint air forces. So
Okay.
it was for allied air forces.
Mhm.
So Canada, United States, Great Britain. So they were doing that today as well in Great Britain. In Europe, Great Britain, and the Commonwealth countries, it is common to observe 2 minutes of silence at 11 a.m. every November 11th.
Oh, so I didn't realize that there was also
I didn't-
recognition.
Yes,
I didn't either.
it's around the world.
Huh.
Well, it's around the world.
Yeah, didn't think about that.
Sorry.
Do you want a drink? Do you want another?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
Every Veterans Day, Memorial Day, Arlington National Cemetery holds an annual memorial service. The cemetery is home to the graves of over 400,000 people, many of whom served in the military. Now, here's a couple of facts, and then I'm going to make this Pottstown, because we're a Pottstown-centric
Yes.
show, right?
So bring it home.
Absolutely.
I'm going to give some couple more facts, which
Okay.
I found highly interesting, and then I'm going to circle it back up to Pottstown.
Nice.
19 million living veterans served during at least one war as of April 2021. 11% of veterans are women. 11%. 5.9 million veterans served during the Vietnam War. 5.9 million veterans served during the Vietnam War. 7.8 million veterans served during the Gulf War era. 7.8 million Gulf War veterans. Of the 16 million Americans who served during World War II, about 240,000 were still alive as of
Say it
2021.
again. World War II veterans. How many
16 million.
of the 16 million?
There's about 240,000 left.
So they're getting up there.
They're getting up
They're
there.
getting up there.
933,000 veterans served during the Korean War. We've talked to Mike Murphy extensively. They are working on
Armies,
the
Army,
Korean.
and
Yes.
Marines, right?
No, Army and Navy.
Army and Navy.
Close.
Sorry, Mike.
The Marines are a department of the Navy.
Yep.
Anyway,
They just had their birthday yesterday.
the Korean War is often called the Forgotten War, and at Veterans Island, they're going to return the bandstand to be it being a Korean War memorial.
Very nice.
As of 2021, the top 3 states with the highest percentage of veterans were. This surprised me. First
Yeah.
one surprised me.
California?
Alaska.
Oh,
Gosh.
Alaska.
okay. So I think
Wow.
but there's like a lot of like bases there. Like there's a lot of
There's some
military
Air
activities.
Force
isn't there? Yeah.
bases there. Well, because from the Cold War
Sure.
area, that was close we
Right.
could get to
So-
Russia,
So
so
when
we
you
could
talk
listen
about
to them.
percentage, like so there's not a lot of people that live in Alaska,
Yeah,
right?
right,
So
right.
so maybe
Right.
they serve there and they end up staying there.
Maybe they
It's
end up
percentage,
staying
not
there.
numbers.
Yeah.
Maybe
Okay.
maybe some of them go there for the solitude because they're dealing with mental health issues.
Sure.
Yeah.
Maybe
Right.
that's part of it.
right.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Wow.
So the top 3 states are Alaska, Virginia, and Montana.
Oh.
Alaska, Virginia.
All right. So
and
Virginia's
Montana.
outside of DC. Maybe there's
Virginia
a lot
makes
of
sense.
Well, sure.
Yeah,
That
and
that
there's
makes
also,
sense to me.
Wow.
And the other 2 are
bases there.
very rural states, so maybe
So
it's
they-
people.
yeah, and with,
Maybe
with
we
small
need to spend a
populations.
little bit more money helping our veterans with mental health issues.
Yes, for
Because
sure.
it is a big.
There was an article in the paper today about Veterans Court and special court
Yes,
uh,
Veterans
things that
Court
are
and then mental
available.
health court, which are 2
Right.
things we have here in Montgomery County.
Yep.
Which I, as a former police officer, I found highly beneficial.
Right.
Especially when I was dealing with people who had severe mental health problems.
Right.
It was a good benefit to get those people into the mental health court because it could handle them
Mhm.
in a way that they needed service.
Right.
Right.
Right, different
Or
kind
help.
of needs.
Correct.
Mm.
I'm not taking away the criminality of what they did.
Sure.
However, there was better supports in place for them than
Yeah.
putting them in with general population.
Yeah.
All right, so here's how we're going to bring it into Pottstown.
Pottstown, right.
Yeah. So we often talk about the Edgewood Cemetery,
Uh-huh.
which a lot of us know. You're part of the Rotary.
Absolutely. Yeah.
We promote it here on Porchcast Pottstown. We have Porchtonians that help with Edgewood Cemetery. I think we might talk about Edgewood Cemetery on just about every show.
Right, just about.
Just
yeah.
about
Yeah.
every show.
Yeah. What's important?
Yeah.
So what I was curious was, are there any notable veterans buried at Edgewood Cemetery,
I'm
right?
going to take a flying leap and say yes.
Sure.
Yes.
I'm sure.
Yes.
Yes.
So I contacted my friend,
Mhm.
Andrew Monastra, who is the president of the board there. And he gets a research cred. So him and I worked on this a little bit this afternoon.
Cool.
I had a name, he had a name, and then I conducted the research.
Yep.
So I have 2 names from the Civil War.
Wow.
These
Oh,
are
wow.
Pottstonians,
Nice.
or what we might now call fivers,
Yeah.
but they are from the Pottstown area or
Right.
born in Pottstown, lived in Pottstown for some portion of their life, and are now buried at Edgewood Cemetery.
Wow.
The first one is William Mintzer. William Mintzer was a quartermaster sergeant for the 4th Pennsylvania Volunteers. He was a captain for the provost marshal, which is basically like military police. He was a captain for the provost marshal, and he was on the staff of Major General Winfield Scott Hancock, who was one of the leaders of the Eastern Campaign.
Okay.
So a major general under Ulysses S. Grant in Hancock. He was also a colonel in the 53rd Pennsylvania Volunteers. He was breveted as a brigadier general. So a brevet is an honorary promotion in rank.
Okay.
It doesn't always carry with it the prestige or the pay of that rank, but it is a rank that is bestowed upon people for some type of meritorious service.
Right. It's like when you get like an
Honorary
honorary
doctorate.
PhD or something. Right.
Correct. He was born in June 7th, 1837 in North Coventry Township.
Wow.
He was a machinist before the war. After the war, he became a postmaster and a coal agent. He attended Pottstown schools. This
Mhm.
was clearly written in his biography.
Right.
Attended Pottstown
Wow.
District Schools. He attended Pottstown District School and did 1 term at Hill.
Oh, wow.
He was a member of the Madison Guards, which was a Pottstown militia company prior to the war.
He must have been like in the one of the first class because the Hill was founded in 1851,
Yeah.
and this guy was born in 37. Right?
Yeah.
He would have been 14 when the
Oh my
school was
gosh.
founded, so he was like in one of the earliest classes there.
Yeah, he did
That's
1
pretty
term
cool.
at Hill. And so he was a member of the Madison Guards, which is a Pottstown militia company. He was the first person in Pottstown to enlist in the borough after Fort Sumter. He was the first person from this area
He was the first
to
one to sign me
enlist.
up.
Yep,
Mm.
signed up.
Yep.
First guy, William Mintzer. He served extensively through the Civil War, notably in Fredericksburg and during the Wilderness Campaign, which was some hard fought stuff.
Yeah.
And in one of the biographies that I read about him, that was contemporaneous to his time, they said that he was one of the most experienced veterans, combat veterans.
Mhm.
He was one of the most experienced combat veterans from this area.
Oh, wow.
William Mintzer, Brigadier
And,
General, U.S.
He
Volunteers.
did not die in the war. Yeah, he
did
survived
not.
it.
No,
Yeah.
he lived until March 31st, 1916, and he died in Cleveland, Ohio. And then he's interned or buried here at Edgewood Cemetery.
Wow.
Founding father of
Yeah.
Pottstown.
I'm currently and forever reading Gone with the Wind. I'm about 4 months into it. And it's a miracle to me, like if any of the representation of what happened during the war is even remotely accurate, it's amazing to me that anybody survived
I know.
the Civil War, not just combat, but all of the other horrible stuff
I
that
know.
went along with it. It's
Yeah.
Yeah, for
amazing
sure.
that anybody even survived. You know, they went for a year
ranks.
without shoes.
Yeah.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
they were marching still in rank into battle against modern weapons.
Horrible.
Modern
Just
weaponry.
horrible.
The howitzer,
Yeah.
the mortar, rifles, machine guns towards the end of the war, all existed during the Civil War.
Really? Machine guns?
Yeah, repeating rifles and machine guns, the
Wow.
Gatling gun.
Right. And people were riding in on horses with bayonets.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Right?
Right,
Talk about David and Goliath.
crazy,
Yeah.
crazy stuff. Hancock ran for president against Garfield. That's what Andrew Monastra is saying. He's also thanking us for talking about Edgewood Cemetery all the
Mhm.
time.
Oh, nice.
How can
We
you
do
not?
all the time. It's a beautiful place.
Here's the next one, and this is the guy that Andrew Monastra told me about. His name is Horace Mead, Neide. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. He was another breveted brigadier general. He served in the Civil War, first as a major, of the 2nd Pennsylvania Reserves, having risen to the rank of 2nd lieutenant. He was badly wounded in June 1862 at the Battle of Glendale. The severity of his injuries caused him to resign from the Army on December 25th, 1862. However, he commissioned himself into the Veterans Reserve Corps. So they were kind of doing behind the lines work that didn't require their participation in battle or combat, right? So he served first as a major of the 22nd Veterans Reserve Corps, then as lieutenant colonel. He also was a provost marshal for the state of Rhode Island. He was breveted Brigadier General U.S. Volunteers on March 13, 1865, for gallant services in the battles of Mechanicsville, Gaines Mill, and Charles City, and for faithful meritorious service during the war. He remained in the regular army after the end of the conflict and retired with a rank of captain in 1893. He had a 30-year career in the United States Army. What I thought was interesting was during the war, directly after the war, during the Reconstruction period, he was still in the Army, and they sent him down to South Carolina, where he became the superintendent of South Carolina schools and also the South Carolina Superintendent of Education. And one of the things that he was involved in was the education of newly freed slaves. So he was overlooking that. He had a title. His title was Inspector General of Refugees, Freedmen, and Abandoned Lands. And he did that in both Virginia and South Carolina. I thought that was interesting.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
He also attended the Hill School, and he was a graduate of Yale, where he studied law. And he served in the American West, too. There was multiple references to him serving out west as far as Oregon after the Civil War. Horace Mead, breveted Brigadier General.
All right. So if anybody wants to take a walk through Edgewood and find the grave for Mintzer.
Mintzer, yeah. William
Or
Mintzer.
Need, N-I-E-D-E.
N-E-I-D-E.
Send us a picture. Take a walk through the cemetery.
Yes.
Both
Is
of
Mintzer
those,
a big one?
yeah, no, it's
Like,
it's a
why do
pretty
I
good.
feel like
if you look
that
it up
name
on
is
Find
familiar?
Graves, because it's right along the main drive.
Okay.
So
okay.
it's
so if you're like sitting at the light, you might look over and see it.
if you're in the cemetery
Oh,
itself.
okay.
So if you've ever gone there for an event or
Yeah.
a cleanup or anything,
Yeah.
it's right along the main drive,
Right.
about
Okay.
halfway
That
up.
just the name sounds like it's familiar to me.
Well,
Yeah.
and there's
There.
Mintzer Road around here.
Oh, okay.
It's still a family name
It's
Yeah, I
in
know
the
that.
area.
an area name.
Both of these men were born in Chester County.
Fivers.
So now here's the last guy that I'm going to talk about. So I went to the Civil War, and then I went into the Revolutionary War. So hold on a second. I want to.
Right. Andrew says that Mintzer is one of the bigger ones. I thought so. I thought I
Okay.
remembered
Yeah.
seeing it like that it's visible from the street.
From the street.
Yeah.
Okay. Jonathan Potts.
That guy?
Dr. Jonathan
Potts? Of
Jonathan Potts. So Jonathan Potts was one of John Potts's sons.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're going to the Revolutionary
Yeah, we're
War
going way
now.
back.
All right.
Getting the way back machine.
Dr. Jonathan Potts was Medical Director General of the Northern Department of the Revolutionary Army. He was born in Poppadickon, which is now Boyertown,
Yeah.
Okay.
in Berks County.
I didn't realize that I know there's a Poppadickon Road.
Yeah.
Right?
It's
So-
it's
I didn't know
named
that.
after it's named
That's a
after an
name-
Indian
that's a-
chief.
Wow.
Poppadickon was a Lenape Indian chief.
Thank you.
Wow.
I didn't know where that name came from. I just thought it was like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there is some local legend that Poppadickon is buried in the yard of Poppadickon. There was a house
okay.
that John Potts built before he built Pottsgrove Manor
Mhm.
up in Boyertown. That house was called Poppadickon.
Huh.
And there's a local legend. Maybe somebody who's watching can confirm whether it's true or not. But Poppadickon is supposedly buried in the yard of that house.
All right, Todd Bainbridge, get on
Somebody.
Hmm.
So anyway, Jonathan Potts was born in Pottstown in April 17th, well, in Poppadickon, 1745 to John Potts. He studied with Benjamin Rush in Edinburgh and eventually practicing medicine in Pottsgrove. In 1776, he married Grace Richardson of Philadelphia, and later was the first medical class that graduated from the College of Philadelphia. Okay? Potts became a dedicated patriot and supported the revolutionary cause in the 1770s. He served as a member of the Provincial Congress at Philadelphia in January 1775 and actively raised and organized forces in Berks County. His actions led to an appointment as a physician and surgeon in the Continental Army in 1776, where he worked first at the Army's hospital at Fort George, then briefly in southeastern Pennsylvania and New Jersey, where he helped men after the Battle of Trenton, and then in Albany, New York. In 1777, he was named Medical Director General of the Northern Department of the Revolutionary Army and was soon conveyed back to Pennsylvania to work in Valley Forge, where he was appointed Purveyor General and Deputy Director of the Middle Department.
They like their fancy long titles,
right?
So
Oh
the Purveyor General, it was his job to get food
To get
and
stuff.
medicine.
That's what the Purveyor does,
Yes,
get stuff.
to get
Right.
stuff. And from my previous studies, he was based out of Reading. The Army Hospital was based in Reading because they were in Reading because they were worried about the British coming out of Philadelphia
Okay.
and overtaking them.
Right.
So they figured Reading was far enough inland that they
Right.
might not have to have that problem. So anyway, he worked at Valley Forge. Potts significantly contributed to the survival of the American Army at Valley Forge through his ability to acquire drugs and medical supplies for the men. Potts served for a time as surgeon of the Philadelphia City Troop and resigned from the Army in 1780. He died in Reading, Pennsylvania in October 1781.
And he's buried in Edgewood?
He is not buried in
okay.
Edgewood.
Okay.
He's not buried in Edgewood. He's buried at the Potts Family Cemetery on Chestnut Street,
Yes.
which is right down from Philly's Fire Company.
Yep.
Right
Yep.
near the corner
So
of Chestnut.
That was one of the stops on the Haunts
And
and
Penn.
History, the Halloween Haunts and History walking tour
yeah.
that the farm presented, which was really fun. We had a really good time.
Right.
But going into the Potts Cemetery is a beautiful cemetery, and going in there at night was really fun and spooky. But it's a beautiful cemetery, and it's really it was really neat to be able to go in there and be in there, especially at night. Creepy. Yeah. All right, that was very interesting.
Yeah,
I
thank
thought
you.
so too. I mean,
Very notable.
these are
Very notable people.
guys that really contributed.
Well, I mean, Potts, like they said, basically was like a major reason why anybody survived at Valley Forge,
Yeah.
right?
Major. I have read about him before and his contributions, and one of the reasons why he died in 1781, they contribute his death to being an early death due to the fact that he worked so hard during a Revolutionary War
Right.
under such poor conditions.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's really considered one of,
A hero.
as a hero,
Absolutely.
absolute hero of the Revolutionary War,
Right.
from Pottstown, buried right here in Pottstown.
That's so awesome.
Veterans Day.
Veterans
Yeah.
Day.
If that doesn't make you feel proud of your town, come
I'm very
on.
proud. As John Armato would say, that makes me feel proud to be from Pottstown.
Yeah.
All right,
Hit us
are we
with
ready?
some news.
Are we
sister.
ready for
We
some
still
event-
have
Are we
plenty of
like
people
events?
tuned in. We're
I know. I
capturing
try to
people's
buzz through these
attention.
because I think we're getting. It's 7:00, so I'll try to go through these pretty quick. Tomorrow, who's getting on the bus tomorrow for fair funding? I am.
that girl.
This girl. I'm gonna make some noise and be like, "Fund this, John, will ya?" So, looking forward to it. It'll be my Trinita-versary. I met Trinita for the first time on the bus a couple of years ago.
She's watching the show today.
Yes.
She says hello to everyone.
So we are looking forward to that. Trinita, I have my cowbells. I'm bringing my bells on the bus. So look for some pictures that we'll be posting online. We're going to go to Harrisburg and make some noise and try to get some fair funding up in this John. Saturday, November 13th from 9 to 1. I would be remiss if I didn't say thank you to Jamie Sanchez for helping me with the news. So thank you, Jamie. Saturday, November 13th from 9 to 1, Green Allies at the Elt House Arboretum, Gilbertsville Road in Pottstown. Clothing and household goods. So they are collecting lightly used and clean, please, clothes, shoes, and household items, which I think they're going to then sell and donate to local charities. So that's Saturday from 9 to 1. get your slightly used and clean items, put them in your car, they unload them for you, and you can clean out your house and help some local charities in the process. Also on Saturday from 9 to noon, there is a drive-through flu shot clinic. Everyone's been very focused on their COVID shots, but now you have to remember that it's flu season, so go get your flu shot. At the PMSI building, 1601 Medical Drive, November 13th from 9 to noon. Drive-through flu shot clinic. Sunday is the Hobart Run by the River. That is on the 14th. Sunday, I'm sorry, I don't have any very specific information, but if you go to the Hobart's Run website or Facebook page, you can probably still register and support that. The money raised through the run goes to help things like the facade improvement program and the local grants that are available for homeowners in the Hobart's Run area. Sunday from 9 to 5, the Sly Fox Cyclocross. I don't know exactly what that is.
It's
like
an
a
off-road road race. It's mostly skinny tire bikes.
Got it.
But you could race a mountain bike in it if you wanted to. And then there's a certain bike, like Brooke Martin could probably tell you all about this. But there is a certain bike that's built for cyclocross. It looks a lot like what you would remember as a traditional 10-speed.
Got it.
But it's built to kind of go off-road.
Okay.
My son and his friends raced in that. Mm-hmm. And they had a good time. Now, they were mountain bikers, so they raced their mountain bikes. Okay. But they had a good time. And I went to watch them. It's real
sweat,
deal.
Gears, and beers.
It's serious. They have pro riders come into this thing. Yeah, it's serious.
Big time.
Yeah.
It'd probably be fun to hang out and watch and just like be outside.
Well, that's what I did.
Yeah, exactly. Watch and drink.
I was my son's pit crew. Yeah. Like I brought the tools, and he did have a little equipment malfunction.
Tweaking.
Yes,
nice.
Yeah.
Made yourself useful.
I did. I drank some beer at the same time. That's a fun event.
Brooke Martin is watching, so I'm sure if anyone's got questions, you can ask Brooke about the cyclocross. Friday, November 19th, which is already next week. November is just whizzing by. Am I right?
Yeah.
Whizzing by.
Yeah.
So Friday, November 19th from 10 to 6 is the pre-holiday used book sale at the library. Library is a great source here in Pottstown, great resource, and they always have really good books in their used book sale. So that's
Pottstown Regional
Library. So that's 10 to 6, Friday, November 19th at the library. Thanksgiving Eve, Wednesday the 24th. There's two things going on. There's live music, or maybe a DJ. It's a DJ. I'm sorry, a DJ across the street at Rivet Canteen and Assembly. Really cool space. Check that out. So that's Thanksgiving Eve, 8 to 1. Is it really even Thanksgiving if you're not hungover on Thanksgiving morning? I don't think so.
I've been trying to avoid that the older I get.
And there's also a rock show at Red Horse.
A rock show? A rock and roll show? Or is there going to be a rock
Sabbath.
fight?
Premier National Tribute to Black Sabbath. So it's a Black Sabbath tribute band playing on Thanksgiving Eve at Red Horse, which is the old Ludwig Motors at 3rd Street. If you are able to get up on Thanksgiving morning at 9 a.m., you can do some yoga, gratitude yoga at Samana, one of my favorite places. So that's gratitude yoga on Thanksgiving morning at 9 o'clock. Samana is at the Roller Mills building on South Hanover Street. I don't know.
That is correct. South Hanover and College Drive.
Yeah.
Parts of that building date back to 1728.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
It is one of the oldest, if not the oldest structure in Pottstown.
Yes, and the Roller Mills is still an operating business. It's the oldest continually operating business, not at that location, but on Industrial in Pottstown.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving weekend on Saturday at Farm, 10 a.m., Small Biz Saturday. So support local businesses. You can buy lots of great gifts. That is on Saturday after Thanksgiving. Do a little holiday shopping.
And listen, everybody's all worked up about this supply chain.
What the hell?
Stuff.
I'm like,
you can shop right here in Pottstown and get a whole bunch of cool stuff.
Buy somebody a gift card. If you want, for example, if you want to get Matt and I something for the holiday, and you got to shop early because Hanukkah starts on November 28th, so early. But you could buy us, for example, a pub gift card.
You could.
Absolutely.
You
which
could.
we would use to buy our guests beer.
Absolutely.
There you go.
Yes.
Right.
That's true.
There's
We
no
do not have
reason-
we do not have an entertainment budget on the show.
No, we don't. There's no reason to think that just because somebody somewhere has jacked up this supply chain, and I think it's collectively all of us.
Yes.
Just because your yoga pants aren't getting delivered to Target on time
Right.
does not mean that Christmas needs to end.
No.
Shop local.
Yeah.
As they said
But
on,
right
the,
across the
on the
street.
Grinch, maybe perhaps Christmas means just a little bit more.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, think
Right.
about right across the street at Once Upon a Time. They have some high-end designer clothes.
Beautiful.
Beautiful clothes.
Beautiful,
Yeah.
especially shoes and handbags. She's got some really high-end stuff over there.
Oh, man.
Beautiful.
Reuse, reduce, recycle.
We're
Yeah.
very green.
Shop local.
All right. Mike Murphy wants to tell us that Vets Stand Down, which is
It's a military
It's a
or
military term.
paramilitary term. It was a term that we used when I was a police officer.
Yeah.
Stand
stand
down.
down,
Right.
It means to relax.
relax,
Or go out of service
Right.
or to
at ease.
at
soldier.
ease.
Yeah.
Right.
It's yes.
So Saturday, 27 November at 10 o'clock, 10 to 12 on Veterans Island, one of our favorite places. So Veterans Island and Memorial Park is Vet Stand Down Saturday, November 27th, and there will be a catered Thanksgiving meal for veterans, which is sponsored by the Veterans Coalition of Pennsylvania.
We
You
think
might-
that the
yeah.
meal might be at the pavilion on Veterans Island.
Yes.
We're not sure.
We're not sure, so we'll.
So yeah, go to Veterans Island Facebook page.
Yes.
They're easy to find
Yep.
on Facebook.
And check that
Veterans
out.
Island, and there's all kinds of information up there.
And then a couple of things. I got that already. We talked about this. We talked about that. We talked about the Sip and Shop this Saturday.
Oh, I wanted to throw
And-
this out
yeah.
because we talked about it before the show. A farm
Yes.
is looking for community
Yes.
feedback.
So
If you go
they're
onto,
having a round table
Yeah.
or focus
commu-
group kind
focus group.
Yeah.
I think that's a good way to put it.
Right.
But they want people from the local area to participate in
Right.
that, to give them feedback about how they can make the farm better.
So there's one happening right now, which it's too late for, but the next one is on Saturday from 10 to 11:30 at 228 East High Street, which is the alley. So 10 o'clock on Saturday, if you're interested in the farm and giving them a little bit of feedback or participation on what you would like to see at the farm, go check that out on Saturday morning.
And I have a link to participate in that posted on Matt Green at Glocker Real Estate on my Facebook
Got it.
page. They want you to contact Tori Dugan.
Yep.
The phone number for contacting them is up on my page.
Great.
So after the show, stay on my page
Check it out.
and check it out. Most of the news that Amy just gave you is also posted at Matt Green at Glocker Real Estate. So again, I am promoting myself and I'm also promoting the community. Stay on my page and find out what is going on in Pottstown.
Lots going on. Great place to be.
Let's hit these outros, sister.
All right.
Today we had Donna Manley from Polkadot Powerhouse Pottstown joining us on the show. They are a women's entrepreneurship and networking organization.
And connections.
Connection group.
Connections, most
Connections.
importantly, connections. We just connected tonight because we're both
Yes.
Italian. We talked a
Right.
lot about being Italian before the show.
We have been live at Pottstown United Brewing Company. Please support Pottstown United Brewing Company because they support us. We support you. Support us, support you, support
Everybody
them.
supports
Yes.
everybody.
It's a
Yes.
community effort.
Yes.
Matt Green and Amy Wolf are your hosts of Porchcast Pottstown. I am Matt Green. I am your local real estate
You are.
expert. Call me if you need help buying or selling residential or commercial real estate in Pottstown and the surrounding area.
areas.
That means Chester, Montgomery, and Berks County.
Even you fivers.
Even you fivers, give me a call. Amy Wolf is my lovely ho. Did I say ho? I think I said
You
ho.
started to.
She's
yeah.
not a ho.
Ho Coast.
Ho
Ho
coast.
Coast.
It's the Oktoberfest is working on me. Let me start over. Amy Wolf is my lovely co-host. She's also the office manager at Wolf Baldwin and Associates, bringing you fine legal service in the borough of Pottstown and the surrounding area since 1973.
Yes.
We are Porchcast. Let's talk soon.